visit Lucknow today, you'll be impressed by seeing the Lucknow Metro crisscrossing across the city. It is a symbol of modernity, progress, futuristic development, and showcases Lucknow as a city for the future. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of how this Lucknow Metro came about. It's a story of leadership. Just like in my last episode, I spoke about how the Lucknow-Agra Expressway was constructed. This is also a similar story which throws up principles of leadership and how they were implemented to make this project a huge success and how it was executed in the shortest possible time. Mind you, the first phase of the Lucknow Metro, which was a 9-kilometer stretch from the airport to Munshi-Pulia and Indranagar, this was done in 23 months. We achieved this in 23 months, which was a record time for constructing this kind of a metro. Let me start from the beginning. I took over as Chief Secretary of the State in 2014, June. When I met with the Chief Minister, he was very clear that Lucknow Metro was one of his top priorities and he was extremely enthusiastic about this project. Some working had already been done. A Lucknow Metro Rail Corporation had been created. There was a young and energetic IAS officer in charge of this as the managing director, but he had moved over on deputation to Government of India. Another post was vacant. And we had to start afresh. The proposal had been moved to Government of India also, who had given an in-principle concurrence to go ahead with the metro project. Now the first thing came was how we should go about building a team in LMRC, Lucknow Metro Rail Corporation, to construct this project. I was fortunate by having the support of the Chief Minister, who said that you can take anyone who you want in the team on merit basis and give contracts to anybody on merit basis, so that it should be all a professional job and it should be one of the best metros that is created anywhere in the country. And fortunately, with this kind of support, we were able to live up to his expectations, and the metro which came up has been referred to by many experts as one of the best metros that has come up anywhere in the country, for having the best quality and also having been constructed in the shortest possible time of 23 months. But the first challenge at that time was to select the team, as I said, and this started with the selection of the Chief Executive Officer or the Managing Director. We did a professional job of it. We had already hired a consultant in Mr. Sridharan, the doyen of metros in this country. If you talk of metros, you can only talk of Sridharan. He is the Metro Man of India. Amazing job he has done in this direction. Simply spectacular what he has done. And we were very fortunate that he agreed to guide us as a mentor, as an advisor in the construction of this project. So I remember, first of all, we selected the Managing Director. I was there as the chairman, Mr. Sridharan as the expert, and we had one other expert from Government of India. And the three of us interviewed a host of candidates who had applied. And fortunately, we zeroed in on Mr. Kumar Keshav, who had worked with DMRC earlier, had huge experience, and we found him to have the right balance of technical knowledge as well as interpersonal skills to be selected for this job as Managing Director of LMRC. He was selected, and then we went ahead with the selection of the other team, the Director Technical, Director Operations, Director Finance. And all this was also done by a committee in which we incorporated the Managing Director also, and we selected all these professionals on merit basis. So we had a top management team of LMRC, all top professionals in the country selected on merit basis. Then came the selection of the rest of the team, right down to the junior engineer level. For this, I remember I gave complete authority and power to the Managing Director, Kumar Keshav, to go ahead, form his own committee and select people totally on merit. There was going to be no interference from the government side in the selection, neither political nor administrative. We are not going to tell you to take X, Y or Z. You select anybody you think is right for you. And he did just that. So, the first big success of the story out here, the first big leadership principle emerges is, if you have to execute a project of this dimensions, if you have to get anything significant done, and leadership or good leadership means that you create a team which is all professional and merit-based. This is exactly what we were able to do. A complete team from Managing Director down to the junior engineer who were all selected on professional merit, and they would obviously contribute significantly to the construction of this metro. Then, of course, the DPR was prepared, feasibility report was prepared, and we submitted this report to Government of India because the Ministry of Urban Development said that PIB clearance or that clearance of investment from Government of India has to come, and after that, Government of India and Government of UP will share 50% of the basic costs. Balance money would come from an external agency, and the total cost was something in the range of about 9,000 crores to begin with. There was a north-south corridor and there was an east-west corridor. The idea was to begin the north-south corridor first, and that also in phases. So the first phase construction is what we wanted should begin at the earliest. As things went out, that somehow then some issue came up in the beginning about getting this PIB clearance from Government of India. It was more a question of personality and more a question of perceptions from the different governments. So things got stuck up for some reason. However, we did not stop. We had decided to go ahead with this project in UP, and we said that we will not wait for the PIB clearance, but till then we will keep giving money from the budget of the Uttar Pradesh government and get this metro constructed. We will not let it stall even for a day. So the work was started after the groundbreaking ceremony, and the project had been finalized, and we went ahead. The question was that this metro was going through many of the congested areas of the city. There was huge population living in those areas. There were things like PAC, Provincial Armed Constabulary Office, and parade grounds. There were things like the grounds for spiritual agency, which were there on the way. There were shops. There were many other things which were coming in the way, and they had to be removed so that the alignment of the metro went as it was designed. This called for a lot of support from the people and a lot of effective decision making. For this, we decided to hold a weekly meeting. Just like I had done for Lucknow Expressway, I used to convene a meeting every Monday. All concerned stakeholders to discuss the progress of this project. And what we did again was, for this monitoring and evaluation, that is the second most important leadership principle which comes out, is we worked on a reverse clock principle. Since this project had to be completed in 2 years, we decided upon a date, 2 years from the date of beginning, that this is the day on which this metro will run. And therefore, we worked backwards and decided all the activities which had to be carried out, went into great details of all the activities, and also what can be done simultaneously, what can be done in a complementary manner to each other. And each Monday, the managing director made a presentation to the committee on what has been done. Targets have been broken down to weekly targets for each activity, and he would make a presentation on that, where we are lagging behind, where we are on time, and where we are ahead of time. We immediately took action on issues where we were lagging behind. It required policy decisions, it required financial decisions, it required administrative decisions. But I, as chairing the committee, would take the opinion and views of all my team members and on them decide across the table. So prompt decision making was the biggest leadership principle which came out of this project. If this prompt decision making across the table had not been there, and had we relied on the usual manner in which decisions are taken in government, the movement of files and papers, then it becomes a kind of circumlocution kind of a thing, where the red tape takes over, and things which could be decided in minutes may take months or even years to be decided. And that's how large projects in government somehow pend for time. They go beyond the time. There's cost overrun. There is time overrun. And we did not want any time overrun or cost overrun. And so we took decisions then and there. Crucial things like removal encroachments, we had a district magistrate, senior superintendent of police, development authority vice chairman, municipal commissioner, all attending the meeting and then working in tandem to see that encroachments are removed, alternative sites given to people, or compensation distributed, all done in record time, so that the general upsurge in favor of this project in the entire city. People are now looking forward to this project. Now, in the beginning, there had been some voices of concern whether this will work in a city like Lucknow. But as the project started coming up, we found that the entire populace of the city was connecting itself with this project. The whole city, these people in the community were involved in the construction of this project. And that gave so much of satisfaction and so much of inner feeling of getting something done for the benefit of the people that gave us also joy in what we were doing. So the whole thing was the team which is working on this project was involved in the project. They felt that it is their project. They felt they're doing it for the people. And they also felt that this project is something which will make a landmark difference to the city of Lucknow. So they felt that they were doing something which is adding great value to the city and great value to the development of UP. So this kind of monitoring which we did every week and took decisions was the main reason why this project got completed in time in 23 months. Now, there's some hiccups which came up on the way. I do remember that the biggest hiccup which came was when the train had to be bought. Foundation work was done, the rails were laid, everything, but the train had to come. And the tendering for the train got into some kind of a procedural wrangle because after the technical bids, the company which was the lowest in the financial bid, we got complaints against the current company. And when we got complaints against the company that it was being blacklisted in somewhere by World Bank and in other some places, we had to take a call. After getting this information, we couldn't possibly go ahead with that company. Then the only option left was to retender, and retender would mean 6 months, 8 months, 10 months down the line, and we would never meet our target. And therefore, we took a conscious decision in the committee that I chaired that we will go ahead with the second bidder, provided he gives the same quotation as the lowest bidder, which he did after protracted negotiations between him and our managing director. So there was no financial loss, and we gave it to the second bidder, and he gave us the train well in time. The matter went to High Court also, but the High Court also fully supported us, the Honorable High Court. They were also aware of something significant happening in the city, and they said that nothing should be allowed to come in the way of this project, getting constructed or taking place well in time. So, what I'm trying to simply say is that if you're doing good work, and you can communicate this good work, not only to your team, but to all stakeholders and to the people, then everybody supports you. Even whether it is the courts, whether it is the people, whether it is the political setup, whether it is anybody else. And that is what happened. All this was responsible for making this project a success. And finally, we also got the PIB clearance from Government of India. I was fortunate, my batchmate was the finance secretary, and he was most sympathetic towards the project. I myself went to Delhi, Government of India, and made a presentation. They pointed out that the economic rate of return was a little on the lower side, and we may have to rework. But we did not wait. We said, yes, it may be on the lower side, we'll raise it. We'll give extra land, a land parcel to LMRC, which they can develop commercially and get income out of it. That immediately pushed up the rate of return for the LMRC project, and it eventually sanctioned by PIB, and we got the money from Government of India. We put in money ourselves, and European Bank also sanctioned the project, whatever money was required from the external agency. So funding was taken care of, personnel was taken care of, there was monitoring, there was prompt decision making, there was team building, there was motivation, and there was a lot of clarity about the goals that we were working for. All this led to a situation where the Lucknow Metro, in exactly 23 months, saw the light of the day. The train came, it was on the rails, it was flagged off, and it was a beautiful sight to see, a shining metro, beautiful to look at and beautiful in working, piloted by women pilots, going through the city for the 9 kilometers in the first dry run. That is how this whole project became successful, and it came and showed, it was a showcasing that government and public sector can deliver things, provided the right kind of leadership is provided to it, provided the right kind of steps are taken, monitoring is done, evaluation is done, professionalism is introduced in selecting the people, right men are placed in the right jobs, right kind of motivation is given, right kind of incentivization is there, then any project can succeed, even in government and public sector, and they're certainly capable of doing it. And this was Lucknow Metro, which changed the landscape of Lucknow, and today anybody who comes to Lucknow looks at it with awe that this is what it is, and people in Lucknow have a sense of great satisfaction that this is our city and they own this project and they feel proud of it. Thank you.